On May 20, 2010, two veterans of the West Memphis Police Department were patrolling the interstate as part of their job. They stopped a father and son for a routine traffic stop. They never came back home. There are people at war with the US who are not international terrorists. They are ordinary people like any of us. The only difference is that they don't recognize federal law or authorities to impose laws or taxes. They are the sovereign citizens. People in America need to understand the threat that these people represent, not only for the community in general, but also, and more important, for the law enforcement officers. On April 19, 1995, in Oklahoma City, 168 people died, including men, women, and children, in the worst domestic terrorist attack in the U.S. history. This attack was directed towards the federal government and the law enforcement agencies.
I'm retired ATF Special Agent in Charge, James Cavanaugh. I spent more than 30 years with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, and I was there at the beginning of the so-called Patriot movement. I watched in 1992 as the standoff between law enforcement and a white separatist, Randy Weaver, in Ruby Ridge, Idaho, ended with the deaths of a federal marshal and Weaver's wife and son. I was there in the shootout the next year when David Koresh and more than 70 of his followers, along with 4 ATF agents, died in a fiery siege near Waco, Texas. What we didn't understand at first was that these events were a catalyst for the growth of a radical anti-government movement, a catalyst for the birth of armed militias.
Even though the government took control of a lot of this group, the threat hasn't disappeared. Sovereign citizens also practice paper terrorism, a form of intimidation in which they file false claims or liens against officers, judges, and prosecutors, which can be quite difficult to sort through and eliminate from the system. Since the Oklahoma attack in 1995 to the death of the 2 officers in West Memphis, many officers have been killed by American radical extremists like the sovereign citizens.
Between the Oklahoma City bombing and the recent West Memphis shootings, approximately 30 law enforcement officers lost their lives to homegrown extremists. 2 officers were killed in Abbeville, South Carolina in 2003, for example, by extremists who did not believe the government had any right to use a tiny portion of their land to widen a public road.
There are several signs that law enforcement and communities can use to identify a sovereign citizen. They might have a homemade license plate with unregistered number and fake city or tribe names. They also use bumper stickers with anti-government messages and slogans that say things like "Posse Comitatus," which means power of force of the county. In other words, they believe that the maximum authority is the sheriff. Stickers like "I'm an American national" or "not subject to corporate, federal, or corporate state jurisdiction" are signs that the vehicle occupants are part of the radical movement. They produce their own legal paperwork, like driver license with fake numbers and names, as well as social security cards.
Just for show and tell, but the fake ID is about the size of your driver's license. It claims that it's issued by the state and makes the holder immune from state laws.
Sovereigns often will have unusual responses to routine questions about their identification or license plate. If the officer asks the person's name, a sovereign may respond, "I am a free man, traveling upon the land," or "What authority do you have to question a sovereign?" If asked for a driver's license, the person might say, "Is one required of a sovereign?" or they might ask you for your delegation of authority. If you continue questioning them, they might say, "Officer, I do not believe I nor this private vehicle falls under your jurisdiction."
The threat of radical people in the United States has escalated like never before, especially against blacks, Jewish, and lately Hispanic people. The election of President Obama has increased the anger towards the government due to his race, which made his followers also target of an attack too.
On October 24th, two skinheads were charged in a serious plot to assassinate Obama. They were members of a group called the Supreme White Alliance. They were dead serious. They would kill President Obama if they could.
Some of their methods of recruitment include travel around the country, giving seminars about how to kill law enforcement personnel and defeat the legal system. They use the internet to spread their word about their movement and to find support from other citizens. They use radio and TV shows to express their ideas, sell merchandise like bumper stickers and coffee mugs.
So what we're after here is not fighting, it's conquering.
Right.
I don't want to have to kill anybody. But if they keep messing with me, that's what it's going to have to come out. That's what it's going to come down to, is I'm going to have to kill, and if I have to kill one, then I'm not going to be able to stop. I just know it. I mean, I have an addictive...
According to the FBI website, the sovereign citizen movement is fueled by internet forums and blogs, where they are able to spread their ideology. They also hold seminars around the United States, in which they sell informational pamphlets, DVDs, and CDs on anti-government ideology. They teach people how to scam the government and convince the community that they are emancipated from the responsibilities of being a U.S. citizen, including paying taxes, possessing a state driver license, or obeying the law. Because there is so much potential for danger in this case, it is important that not only law enforcement, but everybody in the community is aware and, more importantly, ready to face this kind of a threat. The first layer of defense will always be identifying the warning signs of a sovereign. As mentioned before, your city police department should also be properly informed and prepared to handle such a case.
Automatic weapons. They're all with automatic weapons. So where are you at now? I'm standing right over the top. What kind of vehicle are you in? Well, I'm in a FedEx truck. You can't miss it. It's huge. Tell that cop to come forward. He's coming.